गुरोरङ्घ्रिपद्मे ततः किं ततः किं ततः किं ततः किम् षडङ्गादिवेदो मुखे शास्त्रविद्या कवित्वादिगद्यं सुपद्यं करोति मनश्चेन लग्नं गुरोरङ्घ्रिपद्मे ततः किं ततः किं ततः किं ततः किम् ईरेशेषु मान्या स्वदेशेषु धन्या सदाचारवृत्तेषु मत्तो न चान्य मनश्चेन लग्नं गुरोरङ्घ्रिपद्मे ततः किं ततः किं ततः किं ततः किम् क्षमामण्डले भूपभूपालवृन्दै सदा सेवितं यस्य पादारविन्दं मनश्चेन लग्नं गुरोरङ्घ्रिपद्मे ततः किं ततः किं ततः किं ततः किम् यशो मे गतं दिक्षु दानप्रतापात् जगद्वस्तु सर्वं करे यत्प्रसादात् मनश्चेन लग्नं गुरोरङ्घ्रिपद्मे ततः किं ततः किं ततः किं ततः किम् न भोगेन योगेन वा वाजिराज न कान्तामुखेनैव वित्तेषु चिन्तां मनश्चेन लग्नं गुरोरङ्घ्रिपद्मे ततः किं ततः किं ततः किं ततः किम् अरण्येन वा स्वस्य गेहेन काले न देहे मनो वर्तते मे त्वनर्गे मनश्चेन लग्नं गुरोरङ्घ्रिपद्मे ततः किं ततः किं ततः किं ततः किम् गुरोरष्टकं यः पठे पुण्यदेहि यतिर्भूपते ब्रह्मचारी च गेहि लभेद्वाञ्छितार्थं पदं ब्रह्मसंज्ञं गुरोरुक्तवाक्ये मनो यस्य लग्नं गुरोरुक्तवाक्ये मनो यस्य लग्नं गुरोरुक्तवाक्ये मनो यस्य लग्नम् ॐ
Sairam Sister Preeti, you can go ahead. Sairam Sister Preeti, you can go ahead right now.
My most loving and humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Lord, Sri Satya Sai Baba. Sai Ram, dear brothers and sisters, welcome to this much awaited satsang with Dr. Suresh Govind from Malaysia. Thank you to the Vancouver SSIO children for leading us with the powerful opening prayers and the beautiful rendition of Guru Ashtakam. Thank you so much. It is only with the greatest divine blessing that we can participate and share in this evening's webinar with our esteemed guest, Dr. Govind, and all of you, the devotees that have tuned in to participate in this very special Guru Purnima celebration. Dear Brother Suresh, we really look forward to hearing you share Swami's words of wisdom, his message and teachings that we must all imbibe for our own spiritual growth. You have been a dynamic messenger of Sai, and devotees all around the world have enjoyed listening to your inspirational talks and reading your books on human values. Personally, I have learned a great deal by listening to your inspiring words on selfless service. So, dear brothers and sisters, let's all benefit from this blessings and be motivated by glorious teachings of our dear Lord. Dear Brother Suresh, on behalf of all the Canadian devotees, a very loving and warm welcome. I would like to now introduce our Vice President, SSIO Canada, Professor Sivanadaraja, who will formally introduce our guest speaker. So enjoy the talk and be inspired. Sairam.
My humble pranams to our beloved Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Good evening, Sai brothers and sisters. It's wonderful to have you all join us tonight, and I hope with Swami's grace that you are all keeping safe and healthy. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, Dr. Suresh Govind, who is going to talk to us about the power of purity. This is a subject in which we should all be deeply interested because it's by keeping a pure mind that we cease its oscillations, which would allow us to meditate upon our true divine nature. Dr. Suresh Govind is a senior professor and the former head of the Department of Parasitology in Malaysia at the University of Malaysia. He is the recipient of several prestigious national and international awards in his field of expertise and was conferred a fellow to the Malaysian Academy of Science, I believe in the year 2015. Professor Dr. Suresh has been instrumental, as Sister Priti Mathur has put it, in many nation building programs for many years in countries around the world and has traveled extensively. He has authored over, I believe, 7 books on human values and universal teachings of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He's currently serving, in the past in Malaysia, has served many different roles as president of the council in Malaysia. He's currently serving as the SSIO, Public Outreach Committee International Coordinator for Community Engagement. It's a personal pleasure to me since I've known Brother Suresh for over 35 years. Our families have been close friends over that period of time. We grew up in the same Sai Center. I was still in Balvikas while Brother Suresh was a very energetic young adult. I remember acting in a number of his plays at our Sai Center. Brothers and sisters, please join me in welcoming Dr. Suresh Govind to Canada.
Sairam, dear brothers and sisters, good evening, Canada. It's such a great, amazing opportunity by the infinite grace of Bhagavan Baba, his infinite love that has managed to create this opportunity to be here. And it is true that the nectarian words of Bhagavan Baba needs to be seen, needs to be analyzed, needs to be understood. And really saying, I was very moved by the children who said those words, and you keep on contemplating on those words, it means a lot because that sets the stage for this subject, because the mind can go and receive rewards, can get accolades in the world. You can get recognition, you can get money, you can get everything in this world. And then suddenly you realize that you are divine, and then you can go, you can renounce, you can do all your tapas, you can even go to the forest. But what use is of all that if we are still not connected to the teacher's feet? It's almost a shake-up. That whole mantra, if you just contemplate, in fact, it is good enough for us to be liberated, because that gives us the ultimate clue towards the salvation. So really, it's really beautiful. We thank the children for reminding us of these eternal truths. Thank Sister Preeti, for those wonderful introduction words, and our brother Sivakumaran, whom I know for so long. His father was always a guru and mentor to us, and it's inspiring to see that his son is giving them power of purity. This is the subject. So, in order to delve into this subject, we must begin to see that that in this present world of uncertainty, we are lost, confused, unsure, unclear, perplexed, disoriented, and bewildered. This is the world. And not to mention, this confusion has been compounded by the less than 1 micron organism that has now managed to confine us in our own houses, dissociated us from the world, and forced us to rethink and re-look back at our perspectives and vision, because in this sad stage, we are actually lost. We do not know what the world has in future. We do not know how the job market is going to be, how the economic situation is going to be, but nevertheless, it gives us a chance for us to stop and pause. If we continue in this mode, in this manner, in this way, we might, as what the mantra says, we may get all those accolades outside and we may engage in the world, but we may lose ourselves. And what is the point of winning the battle but losing the war? So the whole purpose of life is to find out what is it that we are here for and how should we go by doing so. And the only way to achieve that is to gain greater and greater purity. Now, this is a beautiful scene in a road. You see the man crossing the road carelessly, but the dog is using the bridge. So this is a paradox of the situation. And imagine the dog did not even attend the human value classes, but there you are. So this is the animals in some streets where the buffaloes are going out in a very nice line, and look at the streets that are now caused by human beings. So there's a paradox in this whole way in which we're living. Dogs are waiting in line for their food, but there you are. So the point of the story to say is that people have become educated, that they have not become human. The whole idea is now, for this particular situation in which the virus forces us to become, forget about being divine, but at least to become human in this whole thing. And maybe we have been doing it all wrongly. Now, this is a lady who's weighing scales, and she says, how do we to get the most accurate results? Were you doing it the wrong all the way? A weight will always be constant. And perhaps the way we are measuring our spirituality could be wrong. And the wrong instruments have been used in the wrong way. Just wearing white and white does not make us spiritual. Putting a white vibhuti there and saying Paramam Pavitram does not make us spiritual. Prostrating in front of the Lord may not make us spiritual. Maybe the way we are measuring has to be rechecked and reassessed, because Bhagavan said, and he gave a KPI, key performance indicator for spirituality, is that softness of the ground is the proof of the rain. Softness of the heart is the proof of spirituality. That's it, full stop. So this is the bottom line. In other words, our heart must become soft, does not become emotional, because this is what happened to me when in the interview room once, when I went inside after 12, 13 years of doing this seva and all. One day he called me into the interview room, me and my wife, I went inside. And then the moment I saw him inside, I put my head onto his, where he was sitting on his knees, and cried and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. Then Baba said, "Hey, you're wetting my gown." then my wife said, "Bhagavan, he loves you a lot." And Swami said, "Yes, emotion is one thing, devotion is quite another." Yeah, there you are. So that gives you the whole thing. The idea of being emotional is one thing, but devotion is quite another, meaning to say that devotion aspect of it comes to another platform. So why we revere medicine, there is a systematic syllabus in the way in which you study medicine. And the final year, after 5 years, you come out, you have to go for houseman, and then you are conferred the license to really practice your knowledge on the people. Like that for engineering, like that for law. But for spirituality, everybody understands spirituality according to the way you want to understand it. And there's no systematic approach or alignment or framework to understand that. It all will depend and interpret according to the level of consciousness, and then we practice it according to the way we want to practice it, and therefore create groups. But the real reality is that the expectation of the teacher can be quite different. So the whole thing is that we now need to look back at the books, really ask, what is it you want, oh Lord? What is it you want? Therefore, I went to A and I asked A. A stands for awareness. Mr. A have you ever seen there's a huge big mountain somewhere? Have you ever seen this mountain? Oh, I'm so busy in my workplace. You know, I live in the city. I know, I've heard about this mountain. It is very far away. It is, you have to take the car and go for miles and miles and miles and miles. Then only you can see, but I never had the chance. But I know a mountain exists. Therefore, these are groups of people we classify as A. Means you know God exists, but I have no time to explore. You know, this is live. We are there. We are, you know, okay. So this is the kind of way we go. Then we come to B. When we come to B, we ask people in B, have you seen the mountains? Oh yeah, come. And then they take you into the house, open the window. And from the window, you can see the distant mountain. So this is B, means beauty, which means to say, we make the God as part of our life, which is you put an altar there. You may go to a temple. You may go to a Sai center, but there you are. That's it. So it's there. It's just there. So beyond that, no, brother, can you come? This is the altar. Yes, this is my Sai center. So we just go to these places, arrange it in our protocol, arrange it in our routine. I go every day, and then on Thursday, I suddenly pop up in a bhajan center and hall, and that automatically imagines us that we are devotional or we are spiritual. So this is another group of people. Then there is a group of people who are in the C bracket, which is challenge center. Challenge means that whenever you think of God is whenever you are challenged, which means to say, whenever disaster comes, whenever disappointment comes, whenever sorrow comes, suddenly you think of God. You can see this in our students also. They are in front of Ganapati temple breaking coconuts, then you know examination is around the corner. so therefore, whenever they are in some problem, God is remembered. By the way, I'm taking all this from Swami's text. It's not mine. This Swami mentioned that. D is people who remain at the bottom of the mountain, and with the harmonium, they will glorify the mountain. They will glorify the purity of the mountain, the height of the mountain, the greatness of the mountain with the harmonium. Allah, tumuho, Yesu, tumuho, and all that we will do. But Swami is asking, when will you start climbing the mountain? So therefore, the whole issue here is that how long will we remain here and glorify the higher states of consciousness when we ourselves do not want to escalate that mountain? So we now get up, and there are some people who climb. D means devotion, C means challenge. Then there are some people who decide to climb, and they reach there, middle. And then they say, I cannot climb any further because oxygen levels are very low in my oxygen tank. I've not have enough food in my bag. I don't have enough drinks in me. Therefore, I decide. There are some people like that in the organization also. They come up, they reach here and they say, brother, it's enough, brother. I've got my time. Now let the younger ones do. You know, there are some people who say that. Younger ones, let them do. I have done my work. You know, this is okay. I am enough. I have enough. So this is E people. E people means enough people. E means enough. That's it. We have enough. So then what will happen? No, now I will leave. So you will retire? Yes, I will retire. But do you know that the whole process of this whole exercise is that we need to reach our salvation? I know, but you know, leave it to others. There you are. And I got my family problems. I got my commitments. I got my office problems. So Swami is saying, how many will reach the peak of the mountain where you can achieve F? F is fulfillment. So Guru Purnima is through the Guru, we have to achieve. Purnima means fulfillment, the completion, the whole completion. And only with the Guru can you get the fulfillment. As what the mantra opens up, you can get everything in the world, you can get your accolades, you can get, but nothing will satisfy us unless we get our fulfillments and connectivity. So the point is we can be at different stages, but the issue here is how many must now climb up to the F stage. F stage means the ability to understand that there is a higher goal in life and I now need to proceed. These F people who are climbing up largely depends upon how much purity we possess. The greater and greater purity we will have, the higher and higher reflection of the Atma will be, and the Atmic consciousness will start provoking us. Hey, what is this? How are you going to dissipate your life? Do you know after some time you will die and go? And that is very true. I have thought about it. The greatest motives, Swami said, the best two things you must never forget is death and God. So people can forget God, but death is something that is evident. So in a funeral ground, you'll find that although it is something sad, but it is a very eye-opening situation because one of these days we will be inside that coffin. I thought about it for a long time. Well, funerals motivate me in the sense that I one day imagine myself in that coffin. And I know I have a slightly bigger problem than most of you because my framework is about 6'3". And one day I went to the undertaker here and knocked, and he opened the door. I entered inside. I was looking at the coffins and then I asked, do you have one which is about 6'3" or 6'4" inches? And they said, no, we don't. We normally don't have that. So for who is this? So I said, it is for me. And he said that for you. He said, yeah, I just was wondering how long will they keep the body there till they make the coffee. So what do you mean by this? It means that one day in a sadhana camp, I bought, when I came to talk, I brought a pot with me. I put the pot on top of my head and I came to the session, and I said to all of them that look at this pot. This pot is very small. Can I get inside this pot? I cannot get inside this pot. But there will be one day when I can be inside that pot, when I finally, they burn me into ashes and collect the ashes, and then they put me on this pot, which means to say I am portable. When I am portable, today I'm lying outside the pot, tomorrow I will be inside the pot. This is the transience of life. This reminder of this transience is the vibhuti that is being placed on our forehead at every bhajan. What? Oh Lord, oh man, you are being reminded that life is transitory, life is temporary, and this is only going to be a short while that you're engaging in this world. While you're engaging in this world, do not run after the world, but understand the higher truth in this world and realize the ultimate fact that you are God yourself. And how long do you have in this God? Because your body is already getting to become wrinkled, the white hair is already going to show, your body is going to be bent. Therefore, age is now stealing away our youthfulness, and our exuberance will get diminished. Therefore, before everything happens, that mantra in the opening, the children said, realize that finally we have to reach back to the feet of the Guru. So this is the whole scheme. So now we can understand where we are, at which space we are. You yourself can make an evaluation as to where we are. The degree of where we are is largely proportional to the amount of purity that we have. So this is the whole point. So Swami said, this is Swami's word. There you have your family obligations, you have your office obligations, you have your children, you have your wife, you have your in-laws and everything else. And after settling every problem, then you put God at the back. So when you put like this now, what happens? The value of this thing is only one. You only have one. So Baba said, you know, if you can put me right in the front of everything, you are a millionaire, multi-millionaire, which means to say, literally, if you put God right in front and put everything else there and see God in everything that we do, then you find that you're crores and crores, you're million. The meaning to say, very simple. This is something that Swami said. Now, our job is to reflect. The reflection part of it, in spirituality, there are three aspects to it. One is about reading something. The other one is about reflecting. And unless we reflect these things, it will not click into us, because we are always looking after information. Spirituality is not about information. Information must get translated to contemplation and reflection. So this reflection means that, oh Bhagavan, you are asking me to wake up, and you're asking me to do what? When you wake up right in the morning, you must ask yourself, why am I waking up? For whom am I waking up? To what am I supposed to be doing? What is the emotion that you should be possessing? So this all keeps me in one. Do you remember me in every one of these activities? Do you see me in every one of these? So this, when I start looking at this, I'm a multi-millionaire, and that one whole day I'm rich, I'm so full, I'm so incredibly joyous. Now, difference between Sai devotee and non-Sai devotee, or Sai people who believe in Bhagavan, is that people who believe in Bhagavan, if they are also sad and depressed and what do you call it, having a long face and going through life, then what is the difference between the people who have the avatar and do not have the avatar? If our behavior in the world will be different. See, our whole, I mean, it's the same. The whole point is that when we have the teacher in our life, our outlook in life must be different. Our enthusiasm must be higher. Our vision must be greater. Our purity must be larger. Our joy must be extremely infectious. So that is the way we look. One father said, you know, my son doesn't smoke. Really? Yeah. And my son doesn't drink. Oh, and my son doesn't go after girls. Oh, yo, what a wonderful son. How old is he? 6 months old. So 6 months, yes, you will generally expect such behaviors. So purity needs to be attained and saved. Now, can you see this picture? What can you see in this video? Wonderful leaves here, wonderful tree here, wonderful. Well, can you see all these beautiful aspects of nature? But look carefully and see. You can see something else in this picture. If you look carefully, and of course, if it was a practical session where we are having a face-to-face, then I would have asked you, but just because of time constraints, can you see there is divine here? See carefully, there's a face here. Can you see? There's legs there. So this is Lord Krishna swinging. Can you see?
Yes.
If you not, yeah, so okay. Now, the point here is that what does this reveal? it is not up to divinity to show itself. It is up to us to discover divinity in everything. That's the point that's being made here. It is not, God will not come in front of us and say, oh, look, I am Krishna, I am Lord, you are the chosen one. It will not happen. But if we create more and more purity in us, you will find that we will be able to discover in everything that we do, in our nature and everything else, we can discover divinity. So that's what it is. Now, I can go to this gym and prostrate in front of the gym and garland the gym and do the puja. In every machine, I can do this. And do all this mantra to everything. Every machine, I will prostrate, and touch, and then pray, continuously pray. Do you think I can develop a six-pack muscle like that? It is not possible. However great the puja is, I will not be able to achieve this muscle. though, of course, that's a shortcut to things. In other words, the teacher is trying to say that the whole idea of altar is to understand that it is in the center, that through the 9-point code of conduct that we practice the 4 yoga, the bhakti yoga, the karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and all that. This is the 4 aspects of it. But there are some people who only will take one exercise, one machine, like bhajan. They're only interested in bhajan, bhajan, only one thing, bhajan. It's okay, no problem. Only one. What about reading? Oh, reading is not my. What about seva? Say, oh, maybe. And what about meditation? Never. So when we have already concluded that the prescription that I have taken for the holistic development is only through one activity, and we keep on doing just that one, it is good. But unfortunately, the muscles will become like that. So one hand will be low and one hand will be like this. So this holistic, why the teacher prescribed the 4 yoga is to develop holistically. We are supposed to develop all the muscles equally so that we become a holistic person. So a whole idea is that if we are entering, you can enter into the organization through one path, but it is very imperative that we start exploring the other yogas for the purposes of triggering consciousness in order to have holistic development. Of course, we are very busy people, and in future, this will be the scenario where the toilet moments will be the time where you send a fax and do, because that is how busy man will be. But in this busy period, we need to find out. This is Harvard University's grant study, which ran for 75 years and over $20 million. They did a big, huge research and discovered that happiness is really love. This is the research, 20 years of 75 years of research in 1930, one of the earliest research in human development. They concluded that happiness is love, which is what Bhagavan is saying, love, 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 because the more love you have, the more happiness will be. The real reason why we are not happy as a happy being is because we are lacking this love that is diminishing, and we are believing that the earth is, a world is a better place to do. This from research point I'm giving you. So therefore, we ask this boy, oh, happy birthday, come sonny, I've brought for you a toy. And the son takes the toy and then he runs around with the toy and he's so happy. And the father is also happy and the son is happy. But after some time, the father comes, come here, son. Now, what are you doing? I'm flying this airplane. He laughs and then you say, come here. And then he puts the toy on the mat. And then he takes out the manual, bring out the toy box, and the box comes out and there's a manual. And then he reads the manual, and then he demonstrates that using the joystick, suddenly the aeroplane can actually fly by itself. And the boy looked, Papa, the toy can fly, But Papa, I didn't know. That's because you never read the manual. If you have read the manual will be able to tell you that you are able to operate the aeroplane and you can actually make it fly. In the same way, when we are born, the manuals are already in our scriptures. Everything has been written, but unfortunately, we do not want to fly. Therefore, we are taking the aeroplane and flying it like this, laboriously, tirelessly, working hard, and then crawling to the altar and this and Bhagavan, please, Swami, help me, Swami, Bhagavan, please. Hey, you read the manual, you can fly the aeroplane, but it knows how to fly. Meaning, the scriptures and the vahinis that Bhagavan has written is meant for us to soar into higher heights. But the problem is we need to read. Therefore, reading is a very important component towards all this. So now we have got different handphones. Some of us got iPhone, some of us got Samsung, but whatever it is, you have a phone. And so we ask people, how is your phone? What phone you use? And then what is the applications you use? So you've got so many different applications, fantastic. But very seldom people speak about the battery. Do you, any one of your conversation, what battery do you use for your handphone? You never ask this question, isn't it? So most of the time, because the battery is neglected, Bhagavan came back into our lives and to remind us that your body that you're functioning is because of the mind is able to make you function, but all this is because of the spirit which is within you. Unless you understand and connect to the battery, you will not know how to operate the mind, and your body will become dysfunctional. So for 85 years, he brought this whole subject about connecting us to the Atma. So, and because we are so connected to technology, you look at this one, you can't park in this handicap zone just because you lost your lost your phone. So this one, and then I don't understand it. It's getting shorter and shorter. You see, the handphone, today's technology has made people become like this. This is a suntan, the timelines of the next generation. You see, it's already there, and you can find. Okay, this is all very humorous pictures to demonstrate where humanity is being headed to. So now the key thing in all the Vahinis that Bhagavan has spoken about, the essence of the Vahini is the ability for us to make a reconnection back to the Atma. So you find that you have a body, and as long as we live in this body and this live, so we will live to make this body survive in this world, because the senses are so gratifying, and therefore all our actions in this world too will be appeasing the senses. Then comes the mind, and then mind. Are you happy? Yes, I'm happy. Are you sad? I'm sad. Are you? I don't know why. So the mind becomes connected. Then we have intellect. Then you find that after some time you connect to your mind, and then after the mind level, then you go to you connect to your intellect, and you start analyzing. What is your opinion about this? What is your idea about that? In study circles, you have all this type of thing. When study circles come, in my opinion, I think this cannot be. Actually, to be honest, in a study circle is satsang, the sangha of the sat. We should be only speaking about what Swami expects, and our job is to equilibrate our mind with what he wants. So if we continue to dabble in opinions and suggestions, we will be remaining at the intellectual. And I can tell you something, too much of analysis can cause paralysis, as the saying goes. So that is another point. So now the key thing is that we need to get connected to the Atma. So the point in life is that having come to a spiritual life, the entire objective is to shift our identification from the body and mind and intellect to the Atma. This is it, the essence. You can check the Vahini, all the Vahini, Bhagavan speaks Atma, Atma, Atma. It keeps on emphasizing on Atma. And the reason why we cannot get there is because there's a huge amount of unconscious mind that is there, huge. And only the top of the mind is 1/5 or 2/5 of the mind is only what we know. But there are 3/5 of our mind we don't know, because this is what we have carried from our past lives, from our past cultures, from our past things. And this is all the habits that is now within us, and it is stopping us from making us realizing who we are. So the whole idea of coming into the Sai Center like a washing machine is to discover what we are composed of and to diffuse these things in order for us to achieve higher and higher stuff. Okay, this is a beautiful platform because this is where the whole thing, the top of the ocean is the mind. And how long will we continue to swim in the surface of the mind? Because here it's where we are going to get lashed and thrashed by the various waves. And this is where the emotional fluctuation takes place. And this is where the mind gets to become extremely agitated and restless. And then it gives us an identity. And then this is what we live in this world. But the whole point of the sadhana of the 4 yoga is to bring us to deeper and deeper levels of purity till we get to the seabed where we are having Atma. So the whole journey is from the mind to the Atma. Actual transformation is moving from here, mind operation, to the Atmic operation. This is how our whole basis. That is why Bhagavan said wear white and white, because white and white is a reflection of the purity that we are supposed to be possessing, because Atma is that pure. Sri Ramana Maharishi said, the wave said to the sea, "Can I be like you?" The sea replied, "It's easy, just settle down." So the Ramana Maharishi is a very profound statement. Just settle down, just settle down. And yeah, Bhagavan said in Satyasai Vahini, Swami said, we have slid down into the present decline mainly because we have lost faith in the Atma in us. Wow. This was the beginning of our fall. We lost faith in the Atma. For loss of confidence in the Atma or self involved loss of faith in God himself. So in other words, Baba said, I am not the body, I am not the mind. Then what are you, Swami? I am the Atma. So this is where you are. Therefore, if I must now transcend my body consciousness, I must transcend my mind consciousness, and I must reach my Atmic level. So this is where you are. So if I reach there, then it's fantastic, because if you continue to know that the Atma exists and you operate from that platform, confidence will start bubbling in you. When then you're from that seabed level, you don't need to be agitated and restless by the emotional fluctuations that takes place. Then how do I know I'm spiritually progressing? My meditation is becoming longer and deeper, by the way, not longer, but deeper. Second point is that I'm getting to become more blissful, I'm more happy, I'm more restful, I'm more, while I engage in the world, I have always the feeling of that tranquility. Bhagavan said, Professor Bhagi in that video interview said, Swami, very difficult to be, he said one day, Swami said, all are part-time devotees. Then Professor Bhagi said, it is very difficult to be full-time devotees, Swami. He said, full-time devotees are easier to be because when you're full-time devotees, you will always remain in the same level. You have to have equanimity at all times, in all circumstances, in all situations. Then it is in 1940 also the letter that brother Swami wrote to his brother is that how I define devotion, or who are my devotees? One who treats opposites the same way. These are all indicators, which mean to say that the whole idea is that we now need to come back to a point in which my mind does not become fluctuating, must reach a restful stage and must become all the time like that. This is exercise. This is the state in which he wants us to move towards. So we have got all our life, and this is our life. We have finance, relation, friends, expanding, and of course here also Sai work. See, Sai work is just so we have a proportional Sai work in this all this. Okay, anyway, so this is how we lead our life. Baba said, and this is very powerful in what Swami said, the river strives, yearns, and struggles to merge with the sea from which it came. It has that consummation never alert in its consciousness. It attempts to make itself pure so that it may be welcomed by its source. It's so beautiful because here Swami is telling us, hey man, oh man, the whole idea here is that the river that starts from the top of the mountain seems to know how to get to the ocean. Even if the river is having a hill, do you know the river is not suicidal, nor the river is objected or formed or union or anything like that. The river knows how to bend and be flexible, and somehow or other, Baba says, in its consciousness, the river has an alertness that it will reach the ocean. So man, he's asking man, oh man, why don't you have the same consciousness at least as the river? Always knowing that by the time we end, we must reach our end. It's a powerful realization. Even a river has that consciousness, then why not we who should be possessing that consciousness? So this is the statement that, so now this is the river, and river is reaching the ocean. So the whole transformation seriously is human transformation. Is earlier I had a huge mind and a less Atma. Now I have a small, the mind becomes lesser and lesser, but my Atmic consciousness becomes bigger and bigger. To feel that the Lord is immanent in the universe is also the Atma is direct knowledge. Recognize them as divine. That means to say the whole thing outside is a reflection of the Atma inside. And here's another Satyasai Vahini. Atma is unbound as first, but later is seen as limited and restricted, though good deeds and activities. That means why he's asking us to do the good deeds and activities is that the Atma itself, just as how I've demonstrated in the slide, it assumes its vastness and boundlessness. So our relationship with the Atma becomes bigger, our connectivity to Atma becomes higher. You find that to this. How to be present in this time? How to be always knowing that God is present? In Prema Vahini, Bhagavan said, banana plant is planted, and from banana plant, you can take the banana plant and eat on it. You can wrap on it. You can get the bark and make a bridge. You can take the flowers for decoration purposes. You can use this for ceremonial purposes, but all these are incidental objectives of planting a banana plant. But the real purpose of banana plant is to get banana. The real purpose is to get banana. So now I've come into this world. I can have my career, I may have my college, I may have my job, I can have all these are incidental objectives. But what is the real purpose of our birth is quite different from what we are doing. So the real purpose of the birth is to really realize our own innate divinity, which is the purpose of the Satyasai organization. So this is what we have come for, to realize that banana plant has come to provide us the bananas. So, so my wife and I always wanted to go and see the Grand Canyon. I've come to Canada and seen the beautiful Niagara Falls. So we always wanted to go. So what I do is that I look at the Grand Canyon, what you call brochures, and keep on staring at it for the last 2-3 years that we have been doing that. So when we went to USA, the devotees asked me, have you been to the Grand Canyon? No, but I have studied the Grand Canyon. I know where the rocks are. I know where it is located, but we have never traveled to Grand Canyon. We don't know where it is, but one day we must go. And all my appreciation of the Grand Canyon is only through the tourist brochure. So I have not seen it. Like this, I go to a restaurant and sit there in the restaurant and stare at the menu and keep on looking at the menu. And then the waiter comes to ask me, food, sir? No, I've just come to study the menu. You've not come to order. No, I will order, but not now. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm looking at the menu. Will I get my hunger will be satisfied? No. Will I know what the taste of the food is? No. But by looking at the menu, I know the food price. I know the type of food is there, but I don't know the practices. This is how we sometimes treat the Vahini. All the Vahinis are there. We're looking at it. Have you read it? Yes, I'm reading it. Very nice. Very good. Have you finished the book? Yeah. It's finished. Then what did you understand? I mean, it's all nice, brother. It's all very good. But it has to be practical. Oh, so we already understood that it's not practical. One day I asked Swami Chinmayanda, who's a very good, great teacher. I asked him, Swami, how long does it take to finish the Bhagavad Gita? He told me, Suresh, you cannot finish the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita should finish you. I thought it was the most profound statement. What does it mean? It means that by reading these books, we now have to not acquire them. You can know about the truth. We can research on the truth. You can acquire the truth. You can analyze the truth. The question now is, when will we become the truth? That's the question. That is what the key question is. When will we finally become the truth? So these readings are just like recipe book telling us. Finally, we must say, oh Lord, these books you have given is fantastic, but now this knowledge has to be my knowledge. I have to practice this knowledge daily. That is why what we have done in Malaysian satsangs now, we have introduced a new way of looking at this. This is like a cone. So you must put this approach is called a ROSE approach. ROSE approach means result-oriented satsang experience. And this is a nice framework to actually literally translate many of these things into actual meaning. So result-oriented satsang experience means ROSE. This is a ROSE approach. You do the reading. It's like a cone. You redo the reading. You analyze the reading. Then you must give sufficient time for reflection. Because in reflection is where you get your contemplation. In spiritual books, we have to spend a lot of time in contemplating. It means that after 3-4 lines, you should not try and finish that whole book. Accomplishing by finishing the book is not the objective. The whole idea is when you reflect by paragraph by paragraph by paragraph, it must go deeper and deeper and enter the third part, which is the realization. It is here that you must now leak out or release out the transformative action as a result of this reading. So, for example, in some satsangs, there's Swami said, character is not just about being character is not just about being good, but it's about also treating everybody as brother and sister. So now translating that means that now in your we gave a homework in the sense that how many of you now look at any person whom you have any resentment, any differences, anything of this nature. Some people said yes. This is all online satsangs. So when they said yes, then we said, okay, by next week, can you give them a call in the spirit of brotherhood and talk to them? Well, some said difficult, but many of them tried. And the following week, we had some results in the sense that some people said, I never spoken to this person for a very long time as a result of an argument. But now he was able to pick up the phone and call. And he said, I feel so relieved and I feel so good and I feel so fine because he's managed to translate that particular ideal into actual practice. That's what it means. So literally it means that reading is bringing the significance into the awareness. That is what we, SAI, we've got an acronym for this, bringing significance into the awareness for the purposes of integrating into our life. So the SAI is bringing significance of what you read into your greater awareness. And that is the process of contemplation. And finally, integrating that in order to develop a transformative action. So this cone is a nice approach, a practical approach to reading anything. You can actually try this out. After the satsang, you can just take any spiritual literature, Swami's Vahini, and you just try this process. You will find the books will become, look at you in a very different manner from this moment onwards. So the whole idea is we can have all this and do all these prayers, puja and everything else. But the key thing is now we need to put it into actual practice. Now, key questions, because being a scientist, we should ask this question. Swami, you have said move to Atma, then how is the Atma? When do I know when I'm reaching the Atma? And what is the Atma? In Satyasai speaks, Satyasai Vahini, Bhagavan mentions this, and this is reflected in the purity document that you will see if you studied that. This is one of the verses, very powerful, where Bhagavan reiterates this from the Vedas. He says that Atma is true, eternal, and changeless. Vedas also declare is attributeless, nirgunam, unsullied, niranjanam, eternal, sanatana, final abode, Nikhetana, permanent, pure, enlightened, free, and embodiment of sacredness. It's Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Nirmala, Swarupinam. These are all 9 qualities of the Atma. Okay. Now, how do you make this this is all 9 statements, Bhagavan. To remember these 9 statements is very difficult, and we know that this is right now. So, this is the approach. If you have a role model, sometimes we look at stars, superstars, and then the way they act, the way they behave, and the way they hairstyle, then people follow some of these styles because stars have the ability to influence us. So like that, in us, there is another personality that Baba says, and this personality, this aspect of it is called the Atma. So I have this me. So I'm now Suresh, I'm professor, I'm going, okay, that's all identity. So, but I have in me, they say, but Baba said that you have in you Atma. All right. Now, if I make that Atma my role model, now watch out, this is the line of thinking. If I make my Atma as role model, okay, and if I start to reflect those qualities now, then what will happen? Slowly, if you notice, the individual will become like the role model. So when you role model someone, you will slowly lose your own character and slowly lose your identity and finally transform yourself to that person. In the same way, the Atma has got these beautiful qualities. And if I, from Monday onwards, when you go to work, from Monday onwards, if I can now have this incredible imagery of this Atmic consciousness and their living styles become different, oh, then I'm a new personality altogether. And I continuously believe that I'm the Atma, because Baba said that you have lost the faith in Atma. And that's the reason why we are not developing confidence. So if we can focus on the Atma and develop these qualities, is very good. So Swami, that is a very good idea. So you're saying that this Atma has got these qualities. Yes. So now let's take one by one. Nirgunam. Nirguna means attributeless, which means to say that there's no attribute. That's what guna means, no guna. So what does it mean? It means that I love all faith. That you translate that to mean that all faiths are, because Baba said, I've come to flourish all religions and all faiths. So which means to say, it gives me a chance for me to read all scriptures. It gives me a chance to appreciate that all rivers merge to the same ocean. It gives me a chance to tell me that my dogmas and my concepts of certain things can be easily blasted away. I should not just continue to believe what this is. There's other bigger things that I should explore. So what does it mean? It means that I'm becoming more free. I'm becoming more open. So you translate this in your own life. You can take this into your married life. Your wife says something, you say something, and then no, it has to be the way that I say it. Then you cannot be nirguna, because it means that your wife's opinion on that subject also is very valid, because you're open and now you're accepting. So what I'm saying is, philosophical ideas and incredible the teachings have to be really translated into real on-ground feeling, because at the end of the day, I should feel happy, blissful, which is what Swami wants. So how you translate this makes a lot of sense to us. So that means to say that this is now, I've just taken this attributeless, love all faith. Niranjana means the unstained, no stain. Our reputation and character must be unblemished. So now this is not only you should be pure, but you should be seen to be pure. So as a side devotee, Bhagavan said, okay, our 70th birthday, you should not, from now on, if you are wanting to give up something, then give up meat eating, give up alcohol, give up cigarette. Okay, this is something. So somebody asks, you go to people's house, would you like to have Milo? No. Would you like to have coffee? No coffee. Would you like to have tea? No tea, no tea. Sprite? No Sprite. Coca-Cola? No Coca-Cola. Whiskey water? No water. So, so now if we go into that mode, then you will find that there is a slowly some external influence coming into my system. So when it comes into my system, what happens? It stains my mind. Anything external that influences my mind, I must have a control of it. Why? Because Atma is unsullied, Niranjanam, which means to say, I must now have confidence that I can be happy without anything external. I can be happy that I must seek good company, I must seek good people, because Atma will move toward. If you start allowing your Atma to direct, you'll find you yourself becoming uncomfortable in certain circumstances. In fact, some of you may already feel that in certain circumstances, you yourself, okay, thank you. You will, of course, you won't give up, but you will try and abstain from certain actions, because this is being dictated and navigated by the Atma. Then eternal values, Sanatana. So I see, Sanatana can mean many things. It has got many connotations and many things. But I just confined it to this, not for any other reason, but I think it's practical, because if we live our values will outlive us. If we live a value of life, our character will outlive us. If you don't believe, Mahatma Gandhi stood for non-violation. His body is not here. He's physically not around, but we still remember him. And even in some places, I think in USA is public holiday because of that person who has contributed towards that. So we become synonymous with that value. So leading a value-based life can help us to develop sanatan, eternal. That means to say we leave behind legacies for other people to live by because the values that we live. Then Niketana, this is the beautiful, dear brothers, when you're stressed up, when you're affected, when you are agitated, if there is a place where you can just go and completely relax. The me time that people always say, I need my me time, I need my space. Actually, this is what you're talking about. This me time here is this. Hey, hello, I'm here. Come to me, I'm here. So when we shut the mind and slowly connect back to you, this is the best me time that you can possibly have, because this is your final abode. And if I can be continuously connected here, you'll find that there's an amazing, incredible inspiration that comes out. You won't even feel like coming out of the meditation state, because that is a beautiful home that finally you can reach. This is the home, this is the place. So if you can continuously develop that niketana, final abode, that kind of consciousness to that self, wow, I have a home and no one can take me from my home because it is within me. So that's a permanent restful place that we can actually invest in. And every time you invest in this, the home becomes bigger, greater. And that is a place where you always look forward to returning. Then you have Nitya, permanent. One of the qualities is permanent, Nitya. Permanent. Nitya, permanent can be equated and philosophically drawn to many, many things. For me to be very practical, I just took one. That is happiness. I want to have what? Permanent happiness. So I'm not going to go and invest my time in this transitory thing. So I'm looking for where am I supposed to get my permanent happiness. So I found Atma is the best place. This is the pure place. When I go there, I'm permanently happy. So if I'm permanently happy here, I don't need to depend upon anyone else to give me the inner happiness. I don't have to depend upon other things to influence my happiness. When I become like that, ooh, there is a powerful feeling of an incredible dynamic surge of enthusiasm that will continuously influence our life and influence other people. So this is what Nitya, reach for permanent happiness. Shuddha, purity. Purity is the 2-3 definitions for this, but the best one that Bhagavan speaks, without I and my. This is what happened when when we did a drama in front of Swami, and after that Swami saw me and threw a shawl at me like that. So I caught the shawl, and then immediately I went to Bhagavan and said, Swami, there are a few people who have also done a lot of work. Swami, please give them also shawl. He said, how many? I said 18. And so he sent somebody inside and they brought the shawl, and Bhagavan took all the shawls and put on this hand, put it on this hand. And then the people were lining up. So I bent down and Swami took the shawl like this and was giving it out from my hand to those people, to one by one. And then Swami, after the 4th one, he turned to me and said, where is your shawl? I said, Swami, my shawl is right at the bottom. He said, my. He hit my hand 4 times. At that time, it was all humorous and we were all laughing, but it really gave a very profound effect. Just a few seconds before, the shawl wasn't mine. A few seconds later, that he asked me that question, and the shawl is mine. It has become mine. This is how Maya, everything in this world can easily be associated with the I and the mind. The only attached thing that you should have is your attached bathroom. All the others so in this world, we have come in this world without I and without my, because exactly that has what happens when you die and go. When we die and go, we can't take anything with me. In my shelves, there are so many awards that just now they are not. I was all standing there. I already understood. They can't give it to me when I go. Even this chain or ring or whatever it is, they'll take it from my hand. Do you know that? They will take it from me when I go. Everything. They will take nothing. That means I can't. If I can't take anything with me, then why am I becoming so attached to everything? In this transitory world, in this playground, I'm just given a short time to live for a while. So why am I getting worried about something? Why am I getting annoyed about something? Why am I getting agitated about something? This is a wrong perception. So therefore, the more agitation, the more restlessness is an indicator. What? Lack of purity. That's all. This is indicator. So there's no high philosophy that we really need to do. If my role model Atma tells me that I want to be like you, then in this world, live like that. Do what you can, do the best way you can, and move away from the reward and the recognition. If it comes, you take, but if it doesn't come, it does not matter. So once we have that kind of philosophical thing guiding you, Do you know you will be an incredible dynamic person who will give a lot more to your organization? You will, in fact, your bosses will be so happy with you. Your family will be very happy because you are giving more than what is necessary. It is not the usual concept, I love you, and then I love you too. You know, that is different. That's all conditional. But here it's without I and my. Next one. Seeking knowledge, those who are going towards Atmic, those who are going, Buddha means enlightenment. What does it mean? It means that those who are going towards this path must always pursue knowledge. We must have that anxiety for knowledge. Hey, why is this like that? Why did Bhagavan say like this? Why? And every day we should read the Vayani. Every day make it a point. Underline what he's saying. Why did you say like this? Why did you mention like this? Why did? So it will be like a conversation in the morning that Bhagavan is having with us. So if every morning, if you get up, spend about 20-30 minutes reading it, underlining my books, the books that I have gone through the same book, but I'll go through again, because each time you read, it will reflect differently. And the whole idea is for us to manifest that, And then finally, Bhagavan said, for Guru Purnima, is this a good message? Finally, Bhagavan said, your conscience is your guru. So if you keep on pumping this data, the conscience become an incredible navigator, amazing compass to tell us what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. So the compass now navigates us in our life. This is why the conscience becomes a guru. But we must activate that conscience by actually reading many of this material and making sense of this and having deep discussion about people who are earnest to become truthful. That's what Sat. The Sangha is the people who are earnest to become truthful. So therefore, we also want to get to the Atmic stage. So 10 Atmic people discussing about Atma, because they all are interested to go to Atma, becomes a fraternity. Which is why this satsang discussion is a very important satsang, because more than anything else, this company is a very incredible boat that can take me across the ocean of samsara. So Buddha, enlightenment. Oh, by the way, this one also I told in the interview room, I took Swami's hands. I took Swami's hands and put on my head like this. This is exactly what happened. I was sitting below Swami's chair. I took Swami's hands and put like this. Swami said, what are you doing? Swami, I want enlightenment now. Give it to me now. I want enlightenment now. Now I want. Baba said, enlightenment is not a business transaction for me to give you and for you to take. You have to earn it, Baba said. Earn it. So when you want to earn it, that means to say, I have to exert effort. And true enough, Swami said in another discourse, effort is proportional to grace. That means to say, if I want enlightenment, I need grace. So how do I get grace? I must put effort. So there's no shortcut towards it, because I already tried that. Just to let you know, I wanted to do a shortcut basis. Just I was thinking that one light will come and immediately, but unfortunately he said you have to earn. So which means to say effort is necessary. I have to apply. I have to put the pressure. I have to seek. I have to look at my own ego. I have to see. Come on. The river must merge the ocean towards the end. The river must. This is the kind of inquisitiveness that we must possess. Then you have mukta. Mukta means freedom. Freedom means unconditional love. Hey, whole world, don't forget, everybody's love is conditional, but my love is unconditional, because the Atma says that I'm able to give as many people as much love as possible, and I can give it without accepting anything. That's why to orientate us to achieve this unconditional love is why we go to Seva and do the orphanage home, old folks home. Why did you go to the old folks home? I went. Are you getting a name? No. Are you getting any money? No. Are you getting any reputation? No. Are you getting any honor? No. Then why are you doing it? Because it is selfless. I'm able to orientate myself to bring forward an unconditional. What is that purpose for? That purpose is for us to be orientated towards connecting to the higher self. Can you see? This is the process. So they cannot possibly immediately orientate us. So they put an orientation program of this thing, that thing. So when you continuously engage, our love is becoming expanded, because we are reaching to that mukta stage, which is the identity of the Atma. See, what I'm trying to reconcile here is that the programs and the processes placed in the Satyasai organization is for this ultimate realization of our higher nature. Then Nirmala Swarupina means embodiment of sacredness, means every day you must get up feeling sacred. Every day you feel an incredible amount of enthusiasm, incredible amount of love. Every day you must get up feeling, we must get up feeling better, feeling inspired. Oh Lord, you're given another day. I'm sacred. So I must not have any thought coming inside. Any negative thought comes inside. Hey, who are you? Why should you be here? You must leave. So we have the fence to stop all this negative thoughts coming inside, and not allow our depression or anything else to be affected, and continuously be a bubble of enthusiasm like this. When we are taking efforts to do this, we got no problem, because Baba said effort is proportional to grace. As you see, the problem is, Suresh, when I sit in the meditation, I'm not getting to tranquility and peace of mind. And every time I sit for a short while, yeah, when you go to the gym for the first time, you'll definitely get muscle pain. That does not mean that you stop the second day, third day. So continuous effort, continuous effort. You just spend 3 minutes, 4 minutes, slowly, the expansion will start to take place. So what we are saying is that this whole exercise in purity is that we must exert effort little by little by becoming aware of our higher nature. Why? Because Bhagavan said every individual should regard the inquiry into the nature of Atma as the primary purpose of life. Can you imagine? Purity of thought, word, and deed is essential. Primary purpose of this is the main purpose. Why that third personality has not come out? We are only living on the body and the mind, but there's Atma inside, and the whole idea is to achieve that Atma. So developing faith in the Atma principle and loving it earnestly, Baba said, this is real worship. Real worship is real worship, but this is Swami's words. Real worship is to know that you have Atma. Real worship is to know that I will continue to follow the dictates of my Atma and continue to follow in this world, living like that. That's it. So why do you go to the center? To reinforce this connectivity. Why do you go to the temple? To reinforce this connectivity. So that is why we go there, in order to reinforce this connectivity. And once you finish that and you come back home, we have to continue to live in that state. So this is the experience. And why is this so? Because in our life, this is the electromagnetic radiation. Those people from the brain to the bottom, there is a electrical field because of the nerve impulses perpendicular to the motion of electricity. There is a magnetic field, and therefore there is an electromagnetic radiation. Everyone has it, including people in Canada. So you'll find that if you find that the electromagnetic radiation through Kirlian camera can capture the color. So the whole idea is, as we keep on becoming purer and purer, there will be an influence of your EM radiation, at the same time the auric fields. This red one means very angry person. You can smile at the photograph, but unfortunately it captures the red. This blue color is spiritual. This blue means spiritual. So you find that the person becomes extreme. So as you keep on doing these exercises, the auric fields changes. This is all proven. We wanted to use these auric fields for medical treatment, actually, with collaboration with the Russian groups of people. At one time, there was this discussion about these aspects of it, because this has been proven to be a science. It's not some theory. And from today onwards, if you look at your heart rhythm, if you're very frustrated, agitated, restless, look at the heart. It's going like this. If you give sincere, let's say you give hug your wife or hug your husband, hug your children, sincere appreciation, see, heart becomes normal. In fact, I like to ask you, or the wives over here, just SMS to your husbands and say, I love you very much. In fact, after 10 seconds, they will tell you what happened to the car. Is it damaged somewhere? Where are you stuck now? Come on, tell me. Because these words have never been uttered before. So culture shock. So frustration here, because we don't really appreciate, we don't really express initiation. So Atmic people who are living in this world appreciates everything, the flower, the tree. Hey, when you go in the morning on Monday, normally, hey, good morning. That good morning is just from the lip, from the lip, just good morning. Because you need to, hi there, how are you? Fine, going back, okay, good. This is normal gestures that we do in the morning. Now, take it from the Atma. You feel, you want this person who's coming to you to really have a fantastic morning, and may he always have a good morning. Sir, good morning, sir. Say this now with sincerity, with incredible connectivity. You will find a lot of difference in the way you say it. That vibration itself will change, and you will find that the heart rhythms becomes like that. So meaning to say, we now must move from the normal way and to deepening our experience. Bhagavan said that before you speak, ask yourself, is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? Does it improve the silence? Atmic people will always love silence. They enjoy silence. They like to go and always be in there. Is it necessary to talk? Is it so necessary? Is it true? Does it improve? So this is questions that we ask in order to improve. Bhagavan said, we spent in the study cycle we spent 1.5 hours just discussing these 3 lines. Because Bhagavan said silence of the tongue. I think this one easy to do. In fact, that also people have a lot of difficulty to do this. Silence of tongue means keeping it quiet. But while you keep quiet, there is silence of the mind. The idea of keeping the tongue quiet is to keep this mind quiet. A lot of people actually, they don't talk that day. And sometimes you find that they gesture with a lot of action. So there's so many actions and so many body movement because they're not talking. But that means to say the mind is already active. So silence of the tongue, silence of the mind. Bhagavan said, now, this is important. Swami said, silence of the supreme mind. Wow, this is powerful. So another word where Swami uses supreme is in the Prashanti Nilayam. It's not Shanti Nilayam, it's peace. Swami said Prashanti Nilayam, which is what? Supreme peace. So it's already given a destination. Hey, this is the ultimate end where you need to come and experience the supreme bliss. So what is supreme bliss? Absence of any thought, going into deeper and deeper levels. There are a lot of great masters who have spoken about the supreme silence. So there's a scope. In these 3 lines, Bhagavan has already described the entire scope for spiritual growth, that we have to evolve ourselves to reach these higher states of consciousness in which. So for us to achieve that, these little things that we do in our life, we really need to make sure that we follow. So what should we learn from this is that Baba said, yeah, this is very, very nice and very touching, Bhagwan's lines. In a Guru Purnima, that this is powerful. When a devotee seeks with humility and purity to give service and love to my creatures, who are in need of such selfless service as his beloved brothers and sisters, as the blessed manifestation of my immanence, then in fulfillment of my role as Satya Sai, I descend to help, accompany, and carry that yogi. I'm always near such a yogi to guide him and to shower my love on this. Bhagavan, what are you saying? Swami is saying, oh, you will be my yogi who always is connected to preserve my creations, always helping other people, always serving. For such people, I descend not only to help, accompany, but carry that yogi. Swami, I am always near such a yogi to guide him. Wow. This line is enough for us to put on our badge. Bhagavan, you will always be here. You'll always be guiding us. You'll always be with us in everything that you do. And you've already promised that you will carry. Till I die, I just want to be a dummy piece. If you decide to be a dummy piece, he can make you a masterpiece. So dummy piece means allow himself to become useful. Oh Lord, you use however you want to use, in whichever manner you want to use, but just at the end, please let me realize where we are. So the take home message here is that discover who am I am not the body, I'm not the mind, but I am the Atma, is number 1. From tomorrow onwards, when you get up, I am the Atma. Get up and who are you? I'm the Atma. Believe this. And then the 9 qualities of the Atma, we must continuously program in our system to make sure our Atma is Nitya, Mukta, Buddha, and imbibe those qualities, because that is my role model. So my Atma becomes a role model. If my mind starts to emulate that, my mind is only what? Mind is only the moon. Moon can get the light from where? From the sun. Where is the sun? Atma. See? The Atmic sun can illuminate the moon. If you can continuously believe that, then I'm the Atma. Second point is, he who thinks is the doer is also the sufferer. So now this is to remind, oh Bhagavan, it is you, not me. You are the one, you are the one. And sometimes a lot of things come to remind who's doing. And this is where we get lost in the illusion of my and the illusion of I. It comes to us. But to continuously know that you are the doer, and to always, in whatever circumstances, remain happy, because happiness and bliss is the only reverential flower that we can offer to Bhagavan. Swami, why are you happy? I'm a Baba devotee, I must be happy. But the suffering is the yes, in spite of my suffering, yes. In spite of everyone nagging, yes. In spite of I'm always happy. And forever, Baba said, the first task of a sadhaka is the cultivation of enthusiasm. Through enthusiasm, he can derive any amount of ananda, which means from this moment, every moment I'm waking up for higher and higher levels of ananda, greater and greater levels of enthusiasm, because ultimately I want to do. Whenever a person is worried, depressed, doubting, he can never attain bliss. So this is the point that I was saying. You must attain happiness in order to go to bliss. But forever, if we have these worries and depression, it will not happen. Suresh, you don't understand, Suresh. My daughter is already 20-something and is not married. And therefore, I am now worried. And as a result of my worry, I'm hoping. So I asked, Auntie, by worrying, will you get the boy? No, but it's my responsibility. This is the problem, because you have equated responsibility to worry. That is the false association. You be responsible, but that does not mean it should translate to worry. If you have continued to remain as how unagitated you were before, you can get into meditation, go deep and send one small prayer. It is far more effective than worrying about it, because it will not get there. Wi-Fi transmission is faster when the more purer you are. The greater and greater purity. That's why we started this study cycle on purity, because in the COVID, we wanted everyone to continuously contemplate, because in our contemplation, by reflection, reaction, resound, we will be able to send out the vibration in this manner. It is best to sadhaka under all circumstances be smiling, joyful, and enthused. This is what you want me. Okay, even more than bhakti. Baba said in Prema, even more than bhakti and jnana, this attitude is desirable. Can you see in Prema Vaini, Baba said that. So if I go to center and if I continue to have a long face and be very mournful and sad, and hey, whatever said, I know Bhagavan will take care. Okay, I'm happy. When you have that cheerful attitude here, you find that is the incredible badge of our devotee. So we must continuously pray and remain in satsang, just like this wild geese, always in satsang. One geese comes down, all the other geese will come and help it to go up. That's the reason why we are in satsang and sub group, because anytime somebody is not doing too well, we now collectively come together. What happened to you? Where were you? Come on, let's be together. So this geese travels like this and do. And if you decide not to do anything, iron cannot be destroyed by anything except iron rust. If we remain like this, we find our own iron rust will destroy. So complacency is not the answer. Purity must be an effort, and through effort we will be able to do. And how the children said, I will go, I may not get, but what is the use of all that if I cannot at the last minute remember Bhagavan, at the last minute of my life cannot remember. So it has to be continuously indoctrinated in me that I should always connect to Atma, remain blissful, remain truthful, remain honest, remain sincere, and achieve the end. The river must reach the ocean and fulfill the declaration of the Vedas. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham. I am He, I am He, I am He, I am Brahman. That feeling must come overwhelmingly, and it should influence everyone else, especially around you in this very depressing times, so that all of us can experience samasta lokha sukhino bhavantu. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Thank you, Brother Suresh, for an enthusiastic and a very motivating talk. We are now going to go to the questions and answers. Everyone is welcome to submit their questions on the YouTube chat. Brother Suresh, if you stop sharing, I think Sridhar Bhaiya would share.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. Spirituality we are supposed to share. Okay, sorry. All right.
So yeah, so Bhaiya is going to be putting up a slide which will show how you can enter your questions based on the device type. So we've prepared a few questions, and after that we'll be taking some from the YouTube as well. So our first question, I think, is you've mentioned that for holistic development, holistic development is required for spirituality. So many of Krishna's devotees just selected devotion or bhajans, for example, just Meera bhajans or Radha bhajans. How are they able to get moksha with just one path of singing? And is there one particular method which is more effective than the others?
No, actually, this question was asked. If you read the Sutra Vahini, Baba has explained that very clearly. Why he has prescribed this 4 is not because of any other reason. You may enter into the institution through one of these, because there might be people who are devotional, then you have to do the bhajans, and you can continue to do. But whilst we increase our love, devotion, the heart will start to give us, what is this, Bhagavan? Why is he saying like that? What is that? The curiosity will start to develop. Then from that curiosity, you will start to fall in love. It is like getting, if you are, I'm sure when you're in front of you, before your maybe our marriage, the way we do look, we won't be staring at the photograph of our spouse for 15, 20 years without activating the whole thing. You can look at it for many, many years, but the fact is it will not mean anything. So the fact is you have to write the letter. So writing the letter is Jnana Yoga. And then when they read the letter of love, then someone reads to you what the letter means, and she starts interpreting that, and it goes into contemplation. That is another aspect. And then when both are together, when they sing to each other, that is Bhakti Yoga. So then finally when they get married and they activate. So the 4 yogas are very integral part of one's life. There are people, as you say, have taken one path and have focused on that one path, but is the intensity of our focus the same way? That is the point. The whole issue is that as normal human beings, is our devotion to that extent of Mirabai and all that, then fantastic. But common normal people, as we are living in this world, while you do this, then it is good also to include other aspects of it. More and more people should participate in all the collective, activities. You find that there will be a better holistic growth. Sometimes you find that just going through one, you can develop a false sense of ego also. Because the ego check is also very important. Even just reading the books, and you can become extremely aware that you're very knowledgeable. That itself can give you an identity as well. So the whole thing is to constantly check your ego in order to make sure that you become a more balanced individual by assessing that. You can enter into something, one path. There are some people who can't even sit in bhajan hall. They'll be doing a lot of seva, and it's fantastic. You should do, but they will come, the mind will slowly get restful state. In the restful state, that's when other practices start to develop. We have seen many people in here also, they have started at some other point, but when they come there, suddenly the questioning starts to develop and they start to move into other aspects. This is because the soul will demand that. This is natural growth. Unless, of course, of previous lives merits, and then you have developed one, and that's it, you're crashing through the whole gates of heaven through one, then that is the privileged few. But the general recommendation is that we try and develop holistically the four that is prescribed by Bhagavan.
Thank you. So our next question was, what is this power that we get from becoming pure or doing the 9 principles? Like, what is the motivation to practice it every day?
So Swami said, look, I'm materializing. See what happened? Chain comes in. You also can do that. Whatever you want, you can happen. Depends on the extent of purity you have. Give me a very powerful, wow. Whatever you think can materialize. That's fantastic. Which means to say, if the more and more purity that I possess, whatever that I need for my life, I can manifest it. Whatever ideas that I want, it can come to me. It is given. So accessibility, information accessibility is number 1. Number 2, you find that connectivity becomes much more. Availability becomes higher. So resources can come more and more. So this is what Swami said in one of his discourse. He didn't say these 3 words, but he said that whatever you want, you can materialize, but you can have it for yourself, the more and more purity you have. So which means to say, like if you have a discord or a problem, and this is what I do in life, supposing there is something in my office, or some problem, a research problem that I have, and I can't get it, my students can't get it. I sit in my own meditation and I sit for a very long time, and suddenly doing something, boom, the answer comes like that. And so I know that it has been given. So when you go to the depth of your ocean, all the answers are there. This is the reason why standard 3 Swamijis go up into the mountain and they become great jnanis. How come? They know everything about everything, because the moment you touch Atma, Swami said Atma is in everything. So accessibility, resourcefulness, all that will come inside. So this is the greatest motivation that can have. But really, this is a secondary motivation. Real motivation is that what are we looking for? Happiness and peace. And this is a home that can supply you with a large resources of that. Then why not? Why should I depend on anything in this world to give me my inner happiness and peace? Once you have this, you move away from insecurities. Actually, human beings suffer a lot from insecurities. When you have somebody else getting promoted, when someone else has a bigger house, it's an agitation. Why I struggle so hard 20 years and then I'm not getting, he is getting. So this kind of mental comparisons will come and cause agitations and all that. You know, I'm not sure whether I'm doing it right. All this unsure, this not surety thing will disappear. We'll find a kind of stability in our system. Our Atma will guide us. This is really what Swami said. I am Atma means he's there guiding. And the most important thing, the person whom we really love, and that's what Guru Purnima, who we love the most is him. Where he said, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm in the Atma. So this is where you're going to be. Okay, I want to search for you. And how do I come to you? Is when I develop these qualities. So the highest thing is the river must merge the ocean. So I finally get to my teacher in the best possible way. So shouldn't this become the priority then? This is what that should be inspiring us, because he gave us everything. 85 years stood there, talked to us, gave us the super consciousness, came in the form of God. You see, all of us are very lucky. The God himself became a guru, you know. It's not the other way around. God himself. That means, can you imagine how blessed we are? How blessed we are, and then you are all living in a beautiful country like Canada, which is a very optimistic country. That is why you have started the country called, it always starts with can, you know, it's always can, everything can. So that's why it's Canada. So it's a very, so such an optimistic nation with optimistic people living in happiness, and for us to be born again in a circumstances may not happen. So why not have that enthusiasm? That's it. I don't care. In this situation, in this life itself, I must attain the highest. That kind of feeling should be there. Otherwise, yeah, I can't imagine coming back again and going to school and secondary school. And I tell you, I can't. It's not even in my. I went through the first time itself. I suffered a lot. So I'm not prepared to come back and go to school again and go through the teaching and all that. So I decided, I'm not going to. Hey, just get me out of this. So that is what it is.
Thank you. So we have the next question as, so how do I integrate this every day in my life, especially when we face negativities and challenges, day-to-day challenges, like especially with the current times? And I think there's another question sort of tying into this is, what is Maya and what is its role? Like, why do we have the negative things in our lives?
So this is the 2 point. See, it's very interesting. Now you must understand one truth. Sri Rama drove the line. when he drew the line and told Sita not to cross, the one who came there was Ravana. If Ravana came in as Hrithik Roshan, I don't think Sita will cross. I don't think so. If Ravana came disguised as a pop star with a guitar and, hey man, I don't think he will cross. He came as the incredible Swamiji, won't you want to give me, don't you know, treat guests has got every point of the reality, every point of the illusion was mimicking reality. That's what Maya is. Maya means ma, she, ya means who's not there. That means the definition of Maya is she who is not there, which is something that is so incredibly real that the line of discriminating between the real and the unreal must be in our system. This is why we pray to Ganapati. When you have the first bhajan song, is always prayed to Ganapati. When you in Puttaparthi anywhere, you have the big Swami's Ganapati statue. You go and pray to Swami, because whatever the devotion you may have, if you do not have the discrimination to know what is right and what is wrong, we again will fall. Because you look at the mantra that started in the morning, that itself will tell us. You have, I was the thing is still going on in my head. So it shows that I can go, I can get my accolades, I can get my name, I can get my fame, I can get everything. And still, what is the point when you cannot mention? Then they started with the third or fourth line. He started, then you can renounce and you can go to the forest. Wow. Then I thought, okay, you should be renouncing, you should go to the forest. By now you should be reaching. And yet at that moment also, you're still not connected. Wow. That means to say what? It has fallen into a ritual. It has fallen into a ritual. How do you make it spiritual? Add 3 letters in front of ritual. What is that? SPI. And what is SPI? Swami's purpose and intention. If you put SPI, Swami's purpose and intention, every ritual becomes a spiritual. So the whole idea is that even that those great people who did this couldn't finally get connected. I may be caught in the ritual. Baba himself mentioned that when you were standing near the interview room, somebody was entering inside and then he touched the stone. As you're going, in Hindu Shastras is that when you enter in the temple, touch the stone. Swami said, look at that. I'm standing here. They still touch the stone. He's standing at the doorway. So we are so accustomed to the conditioning of the mind that we do not know how to turn a ritual into a spiritual. So the point of the story is that we can all be looking at it, but the Maya is so strong, it will make us assume that this is how it is. That's why every trip to the bhajan hall and you come back, what did I learn? What did I acquire? How am I connected to this one? There is a conflict. What is this conflict teaching me about how to get connected to my Atma? This is the question. Don't ask the question why this conflict came to me. You should ask this question is, what is this conflict teaching me about how to connect to Atma? That is how the wisdom should operate. We must move from accumulating knowledge to dispensing wisdom. This is the transference of knowledge to wisdom. Wisdom is whatever that happens to us happens for a good cause. Baba said, this is very powerful. This always, I remember that. Swami said that how to keep the mind all the time equanimity. Because if you know that whatever happens in your life is due to my will. Wow. Then Baba said, this is now the added point. Then that is how you can remain. Whatever happens to my will. Number 2, you must understand that you are the kite, but I am the one who's holding it. To always remember that I am the one who's holding it is the ultimate spiritual truth. So Maya will help you to forget sometimes that he's holding it. That I will come in very strong. I will come in very strong. I got a lot of experiences in this thing because Swami thought during the 12 drama presentations that we staged at Puttaparthi, there were many, many lessons that I myself was orientated to, and I can share with you at some point. But the issue here is that to answer that question is, this is how Maya is. It is as almost real as this. So that is why deep discrimination, high analysis must be done. Bhagavan, you can give me all the problems in this world, but please do not take me away from you. You are the ultimate. I want you. Don't allow anything to happen. So the discrimination must be strong. You must continuously give emphasis to this. Analyze everything, and then make the decision. This is the second question. I've answered the second question with regard to the Maya aspect of it. So first point is how you describe how to always keep connected. Very simple. When you fall in love with anyone, wherever you go, do you know you remember her? You go to your college, you go to your telephone. In fact, when you're before, have you reached? Oh, yes. And then after that, every 2 hours, how are you? Okay, this is all before marriage. But I mean, this is all before, after marriage, we hardly converse. Okay, that's a different matter. But anyway, the point is conversation takes place a lot. How is that? You're deep in work and you're thinking about her. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said that the turtle swims in the ocean, but always goes back to the banks where it lays its eggs. How can a turtle who's swimming in the ocean far away, who has no navigation, no map, no ways, yet is able to reach back to the same banks where it lays its eggs? Like that, human beings must go everywhere, but constantly remember that this is them. How How do you remember that? You must have emotional investment. You must have continuous remembrance. Every day the sadhana must be to sit for a while. Connect. Don't put Baba in Puttaparthi or Vishnu in Vaikundam and Shiva in Kailash. Every day we must be connecting to him in that sense. You must talk to him. We must converse with him. Even now as I'm talking to you, I'm very well aware somewhere he must be sitting here, standing there, listening to this whole conversation. Because one day in the interview room, he told me, I know you went to London and you spoke very fast there. Isn't it? I said, yeah, Swami. Why you speak fast? He spoke fast. And he looked at my wife. He spoke fast. And then my wife nodded their head. So meaning to say, everywhere is always present. So to be always aware and be present, you are watching everything. You are knowing everything. I must become pure. This awareness in itself is really meditation 24 hours. He mentioned that in Sathya Sai, one of Sathya Sai books where he's talked about Shabri. In Sabri, he said that when she went as a small girl and the teacher told her to wait till Rama comes, and he went off, and this girl became an elderly lady, but she kept on looking at the forest, waiting for the slightest twig, slightest break in the twig or slightest leaf movement. She thought Rama will come. And finally, when Rama, the whole group came inside, she worshipped Rama's feet. And then finally, at the end of the day, Rama liberated her. Baba said, see, Sabri throughout her whole life focused only on Rama. That is why she got liberation. Baba said this. So in our whole life, what we do is that we think for a while and then we finish the session and then we go off. Okay, when is the next sadhana camp? What is it, brother? Who is the next speaker, brother? When will it happen next month? Okay. So when is the next buy? So this is our attitude where we think that this is an event. So when we event and then we look for another event, life is between two events. So now we go to live, go to Canada, we go and do marketing, shopping, we do all this, come back. Okay, when is it, brother? When is the next one? So it is an extracurricular activity. Actually, this is the main activity because we are talking about battery, not talking about the mind, not talking about the body. This is the battery that gives the entire thing about life. That is what the spirit must be. So how you remember this? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also said this. How you do this is very simple. You think of God every time? Yeah. Oh, really? Then he puts his head, somebody's head, and put under the water. And then for 1.5 minutes, then you took up. What did you think of? I thought about my family. I thought about my job. Then what did you last think? I only thought about air. I wanted air to breathe. So I didn't have air to breathe. Air. So he said, are you thinking about God the way you thought about air? That is the thinking that you should, my God, that was a powerful realization. Which means the intensity is there. In Sathya Sai speaks, sorry, it's not Sathya Sai speaks, this one, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, in the volume 1 where Swami speaks about Kasturi, that when Kasturi was, this was not volume 1, it's one of the volumes. Kasturi says that he was on his deathbed. Bhagavan came into the room and he told somebody to switch off the tap. He said the water is dripping. Tick, 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 tick. So he said, switch off the tap. And he went there, Kasturi, see who has come. Swami. Yeah. Now, don't think about the past, don't think about the future, only think about me and close your eyes. So he closed the eyes and he just went down and he told the doctors 1 more hour. Swami went back and 1 hour they came to the news that Kasturi has passed away. When Kasturi, see, for me, these dramatic events are very important. In the reading of Satyam Shivam Sundaram, my question is why he said close the tap. So this is what my analysis, why you are going to see this man, you tell him why you want to go and close the tap for, because the tap has got a noise, tap, tap. So he wants Kasturi to wake up and not listen to anything else. He wants only to focus on Swami. See, can you see, that means to say how much attraction, how much focus we should be so that the last moment of our life, we can speed through and reach there. How much we must orientate our mind to continuously think of Bhagavan at the last moment, so that we can reach. Do you know, this is the reason why Hindus may name their children by God. Venkatajalapati, Ganesha, Saraswati, we name the children because Saraswati, and then you die, you may reach God. Like that. That's how the thinking is. So Baba mentioned this in one story. Chinnagada, Saraswati, Rama, Krishna all came to the father's deathbed. If all of you are here, who is going to look after the shop? And he died. He called all the children. At the last minute, he thought about the shop. So how are we going to orientate our system and thinking faculties to always focus when we are not giving it an orientation program? Life is not an intermittent space between the spiritual experiences. In fact, your worldly life is an intermittent. The other one is a spiritual beam. We are at the atmic beam. Occasionally, we are allowed to bob up in the ocean and be in the mind level and then come back to the atmic level. That's how to remember continuously and to be aware that Maya can influence our decision-making skills.
Thank you. So we'll ask one last question, I think.
No, don't make it last.
Okay, then we have a few more. So I think you talked about analysis of your thoughts and your like continuously analyze. So the next question sort of leads to that. So how do I evaluate whether my thoughts are pure or not? Like how do I guard myself against wrong intentions, even though I might be doing like right actions?
So very
How do
simple.
I identify and course correct?
Yeah, just as what Swami said, the conscience is your guru. The best way to analyze is keep on asking, hey, is there any I and my in this? Number one. When I'm doing this, who is it benefited? It's a lot of actions are prompted by the I and my consciousness. So you got to watch out whether the I and my is there. Second point of purity is that you must see who's doing it, who's aware. If he is doing it, you will just be inspired. There will not even be this doubt. The moment we're having a doubt, suddenly the I and my came into the system. So there are a lot of people, brother, I don't like to do big things, brother, because I like to be pure, brother. So I do small things. But you know something, you can do small things with big ego, you know. Whereas you can do big things with small ego. The size of what you do is not proportional. If that's the case, Hanuman, you want to break the chain, you can break it by becoming big and big. That's Hanuman way of doing it. And he jumped across Lanka and gave the ring. So it is not the size of the program and the huge and the majesty of the program that is going to determine the ego. It is the attitude in which we are doing. Attitude is determined by how much I and my can come into the picture. And that can only be judged by how you feel. The moment you feel restlessness, it's already there, I and my. The moment you feel inspired, Bhagavan is for you. That's it. The inspiration will come. You won't even think about it. It's in the flow. That's what the Chinese call it. You are in the chi. Chi means the flow. So in the flow, you're just flowing and you're inspired. You're just doing. So a lot of things that we have done here is all mainly that we do things to please Swami and not to please our own individual ego. So this is how you check it up. I and my should not be there. Doership must not be there. These two things will come to contaminate. When the doership comes in, you will feel agitated, you will feel restless, you will feel a lot of doubts coming inside. When you're so clear, it can happen. Well, then how do you know? I know it. Just go. The flow will be there.
Sounds good. Yeah. So there was a question on the doership. So I'll follow up on that. So it says, how do we engage in our activities with 100% enthusiasm, as you were talking about that intense focus in your talk, right? And while not attaching ourselves to the outcome in the planes of doer, receiver, and indweller. So
how do we live in this world without enthusiasm? You just tell me, how can we live in this world without enthusiasm, without happiness, without joy? How is it possible? So when you're getting up and there's some people get up, another day. You know what's the biggest problem in all these things is because we get up late. Baba said, you should get up and say good morning to the sun. Don't let the sun say good morning to you. The biggest problem in our psychology is that we wake up 10:30, 11 o'clock, especially if it's Sunday, and slowly decide to be alive at 11 o'clock and stumble downstairs and collapse in the breakfast. And by the time you eat, you're exhausted. And hey, you are supposed to wake up and look at the sun. Why you are supposed to look at the sun? Because the sun has got a very powerful energy. If you don't believe, wake up in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6 something, go for a walk and see. The incredible radiation that emanates from the sun. And you say, every day, you must say to us, oh sun, I wish I am like you. Every day, even people criticize you, come and shine. Every day, people praise you, also you're not affected. And you're giving continuous illumination to the world. And you're not bothered, you don't take a break. There's no leave, no Sunday, every day. How can I be like you? Unconditional giving, like that's why in astrology, Atma is considered as the planet sun. And if it is very rightly so, because in the sun is the middle and all the planets rotate around. So Atma is the middle and everything else rotates around. This is the astrological symbolic symbol. So like that, every morning, if you get up early morning and go and wake, your enthusiasm will generate it by itself. There's nothing for you to feel depressed or sad because you are completely sleeping in lethargy, in tamas, in this is very important. Second point, another reason why people don't become enthusiastic is because people don't know how to eat food. The kind of food you're eating is very, very damaging. Sometimes all this chips and all this oily stuff and all this very important for, if you have decided Nirmala Swarupanam that Bhagavan is sitting in the throne, then it is important for us to know what to eat. So consumption of food, Baba said, too much of the good food also will become rajasic and tamasic. So you can eat sattvic food, but some people eat, yes, I'm on fruits. Then what do you do? I take 4 papaya and 5 pineapples. So that is not, that is, and 3 buckets of cow's milk. So that is not sattvic. Sattvic means that the food consumption is little and that keeps the body system enthusiastic. Whether it's a food intake and drinks intake has got a large influence on the way things. Why is that so? Because 10,000 publications have shown that the brain and stomach is connected to the brain-gut axis. There is about 7 trillion bacteria, which is called the second brain now. The gut inside there is considered a second brain, and microbiologists are all working very hard to decipher what the whole thing is on the microbiome science of it, to show that this is what that influences this. So the whole point here is that we must be very careful of what thoughts we entertain, what food we eat, to keep our enthusiasm levels high. If not, every single little incident that happens to us, we are not able to take it. We cannot be, we have Bhagavan Baba, our enthusiasm must be 2 or 3 times higher. Our spirit must be larger, because that is the greatest. Oh, why are you happy? I'm with Baba. What is that? That is how you should say. You mean to say you don't have a job and you're depressed? You're not depressed? Today, but so far I had the job. So when I had the job, Baba gave. Today, now, tomorrow, the job will come. As long as I'm there, I'm just be happy, and today I will live. That means to say you're optimistic, not become and take pills and continue to consume this and live in this sorrowful misery state and depress everybody. There are some people, how are you? You're very sad, very scared to ask this question. How are you? Oh, if you ask, how are you? The story will go back 35 years back, and you begin your tragic story from that. And by the time you reach now, you have to take Panadol to release your depression as a result of that. So the point of this thing is that remain enthusiastic and be happy. This is a natural state. Have you noticed the birds and the bees, flower? You look at all the nature, just step out, you stare for a while. Hey, you're not even taking a break. You're not even depressed. My God, how can you not be depressed and I'm depressed? Bhagavan said, and this is the most insulting thing that Swami has said, your mind is like a monkey. Yeah, Baba, mind is like a monkey. I'm very sorry, Suresh, not that true. Then what is that? Your mind is like a mad monkey. Hi, yo, Swami, mind is like a mad monkey. Not true, Suresh. One more line. What is that? Not only mad monkey, but you're a drunken mad monkey. Oh, yo. 3 things. Swami said, no, one more, Suresh, just to add in, I'm so sorry. Not only the mind is like a drunk, mad monkey, but the monkey is bitten by a scorpion. I have to transcend these 4 conditions, Baba. How can you do this? You have to transcend these 4 types of mind and then come to you. How will I ever achieve this? So can you imagine the deplorable state that Bhagavan describes? That is why, what? The children, go back to the one that children have spoken about. The mind must be connected to the teacher's feet. Teacher always stands on the intellectual idealism. Finally, we live for the teacher, and finally become him itself. So this whole idea is that the mind is, that's why I put this role model example. So after listening to the mantra, I've changed the thing to show that Atma is the role model. So I now make you, and the feet is there. So I continuously, the mind receives the illumination of the Atma. I will be continuously inspired.
Thank you. So actually that leads perfectly to my next questions. So how do we connect to Sai within us?
Yeah, this is the point.
Like how do we experience Sai within us? Yes. So how, like in day-to-day practices, simple steps.
So I wrote this book called The Divine Lifestyle, because in that book, what I wrote was all the biographical narratives that Baba said. In his speeches, sometimes, occasion he will flash it. You see, I'm always happy when others are happy. Wow. Okay, Swami, that is one line. All right. I'm always, you see, from morning to night, I'm full of activity. Okay. So I wrote 10 statements of what Baba said about himself. For me, these 10 statements are the biographical narratives, that glimpses as to what we should do. That's all. So from morning to night, I should be happy. I should be active. And then I should be happy when others are happy. I give happiness wherever I go. See, all these are, the best way to do this is to imagine that Bhagavan is the amazing, incredible personification of Atma, manifesting the exemplary purity that he is, and I take those attributes and I practice this in our life. That's all. So when we practice every day, you're connected. But why are you doing this? Because you told me like this. I want to be like you. I want to try to be like you. That does not mean that we are perfect and all of this. Still a lot of, in fact, as you walk on this path of perfection, you realize how imperfect we are. Because as the perfection will give you a mirror to show you how are you. I got this ego, I got this much of anger. All this will start reflecting to us much better, much more. So when you start reflecting all these things, then we start working on those aspects of it. So the most important thing is to take the attributes of Bhagavan and live that value continuously and constantly. So from Monday onwards, you go back, you decide, in my place, I'm going to give happiness to who I come across. Okay, first point. Second point, from this moment onwards, I'm not going to allow anything to disturb my peace of mind. Decide that. And then your husband tells you, we are going to see my mother's house. And then immediately, of course, oh God, so now you have to chant the mantra and all that will come in. But the issue here is that now you can use your mother-in-law as an excuse to demonstrate an incredible amount of stuff. I know earlier we had arguments and all that, but now when I go, I see Bhagavan in this mother-in-law. Wow, if I can superimpose Swami in her and then hug her and all that and find, what happened to you? Why have you changed? What is it? Amma, I realize now that you are my gateway to heaven. If I increase my patience and the love, you are the reason for me to achieve heaven. Really? Yes, because I need to increase my tolerance and my patience and everything else because of you. So I changed my entire attitude in life. I look for the hard people to work with because then I can improve. This is really true. The good people who are around you may not increase you. Look out for the ones who are difficult with you. Then apply your meditation knowledge and apply your spiritual knowledge to increase your love of it. This is what I do, and this is what I tell my PhD students and master students and everything else. Every time, whenever one of my students come to me and I can't get my cultures, things are contaminated, I don't know what's happening. So I sit down with this person and say, okay, what's happening in your life? Sir, it's not like that. The cultures are not working. Parasites are functioning. It's not functioning. No, what is happening in your life? Just tell me. And the girl will sit down and tell me, no, nothing's happening. No, something's happening. Then he says, yes, there's something. It's about marriage. So something personal is affecting. If affected the mind, and as a result, there's impurity in the culture. It's a reflection reaction. So I have to check this and make sure this is pure so that the world outside is better. She finishes the work fast enough and got a distinction and went out. So the whole point here is that we look back at this aspect of it. Purity will always get good results. So this is how to do.
Makes sense. Thank you. So one of the questions we got on the channel is, how will external knowledge contribute to purity?
Yeah, external, as long as you have the base, that doesn't mean people who are spiritual should not think that we must renounce and go back and we are not interested to engage in the world. I'm a sadhu and all that. No, this is all misconception though. The more and more Atmic base you have, Atma becomes the container in which you can put the knowledge into the container. Content in a good container, you will be able to contextualize the content. In fact, you will become a better scientist or you will become a better performer because you are able to see things in a higher light. Many discoveries have been made and many papers have been published purely on this account because you are able to see things in a better, even your performance in your workplace, some people who are not able to work in the world, whatever information that you're gathering from the world outside will be put into the right context when you have an Atmic knowledge. So the more and more proficiency you have as far as Atmic knowledge is concerned, you will have greater and greater efficiency in the world outside. This is how never must you think that spirituality is a place where you can escape from all this. I am not too bothered, I am a simple person and all. No, if that is the case, then Bhagavan should have just sat in one spot and went on with the meditation and did something. He didn't do that. He was a super specialist hospital, the hospital that never is the world's first kind. Water project, all the incredible achievements is in the world outside. Using the talent and knowledge and everything else, he left legacy. What does he do? Hey, hello, I did all these things, okay? As part of manifestation of spirituality, this is what I did. And he did the last gesture. Please, you also follow what I have done. Make sure that you also follow the same things that I'm doing and live a life like this, okay? And he went like, please follow my legacy. Please follow my message. This is what he said and went back. Yeah. So that's the message. Meaning to say, Atmic people, if you are a businessman, become a good businessman, earn dharmically, become a millionaire if you want to become, but earn it righteously. Get all the information. You must read the best books. And in fact, spiritual people must read one book at least a month. And that's not Facebook. I mean, I'm talking about book.
For sure. Thank you. So another question we have is, how do we love silence? I think you talked about silence. Yeah.
The moment you can understand the reward of silence, you will start loving. So if you're moving away from the din and roar of your mind and you enter into silence, the incredible enveloping silence that it brings about, the awareness of something higher and greater, you'll find that it is in that silence that will keep on inviting you. You don't have to, after that, run after silence. Silence will invite you. Excuse me, come and see me. Or don't you want to see, experience it? It will start inviting you. So first experience that momentary silence that we have. Don't go for long silence. So if you start about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, then you find you enjoy that, and then you will have experience. Then when you come to a stage in the din and the roar of that noise, you will still experience the beautiful enveloping silence despite that noise. So this is what is called the supreme, the state of higher noise. There's nothing that affects you. You must come back to that state. So how you experience that is to experience that in momentary moments in your daily practice of your meditation and daily practice. Even those of you who are not meditating or cannot meditate, even for a while you sit in front of the altar, just enjoy. Don't think of anything, just silent, just like that. Don't think of anything means the noise can be in the mind level also. Absence. The best way is to do like what the Balvikas SSIO teaching, where silent sitting. You imagine, go to the sea, you imagine the vast ocean and the sea, and then just get lost in them. You look, hey, 15 minutes, my God, 15, see, then you know that you have been in another state. Yeah, it is to alter the state of consciousness. Silence alters the state of consciousness. Silence alters the state of awareness.
Absolutely, thank you. Is it true enlightenment is somebody to nobody to everybody?
Yeah. Because this is what I wanted to experience, and Baba said, you have to earn it. Never mind. It's okay. So the point is, first, we started with the journey with what? Nobody or everybody or somebody. Somebody. Did you start with somebody?
Yes.
So somebody goes out and discovers that I am this, I am that, I am that. Then you enter into the spiritual thing, you read all these things, and finally you realize, what is that? Nobody. And you can sense nobody when you listen to the Dasha Slokas of Adi Shankara, when he's about to, this is the only document on earth where he actually tells about the point of merger. The statements that he has uttered, 10 statements that the point of merging, he mentioned this statement. And he said, my God, whatever you know in this world is only one tip of the iceberg that you should know. Adi Shankara is talking about this merger. And so when you read that, oh my God, what is it that I should know? Nobody, man, I'm nothing. There's so much to know. And I'm thinking that there's so little. So that's why when you come into this path and continue to practice, you will become humble, because there is so much to know. So the whole idea is that in that height of that whole knowledge, somebody becomes nobody. So they go to the mountaintop and realize I am nobody. You are the ultimate electricity. I'm just the bulb and that's all. Once I realize I'm the bulb and allow the electricity to come through, you know, the bulb will be used by everybody for other purposes. So we become the light and source of happiness and delight to be used by others. So every one of us must be useful for everybody. But in order to be useful for everybody, in the first instance, we must become nobody. So when you become, how to become nobody, we must travel the journey from somebody to nobody. This process must be there. If that process, the whole idea of this 4 type of yoga is to reach the point of nothingness. Then in that nothingness, you know that the doer is him. Once you, okay, Bhagavan, you decide, you want me to do it? I will do. You want me to go there? Then it will become something useful for the light to be useful for everybody else. That's the idea. So that is why that's why I always, whenever the Swamijis go up in the mountain, why they realize and come down and start a mission. They can remain there, excuse me. You wanted to realize something, you realize and you go and get your mukti and moksha. Why did you bother to come down? And now you are telling us you should not do this, you should not do that. Unnecessary burden and unnecessary trouble. Why don't you allow us to live properly and go? That cannot be, because you became somebody, went up there, became nobody. And when you are a light bulb and you came down, now you want to make sure you're useful for everybody to bring the information out in the same way. We have got a responsibility. Baba said, Sattvic service is not just giving food to everybody. Baba said, Sattvic service is transforming people and giving them higher happiness. That's what Sattvic service is all about. It's not just going somewhere, giving soup kitchen, and that's one form of service. But other than that, the greatest problems in man is what thoughts. And if we can help people to transform. So each of us have the job to become this bulb, to give this light to everybody. That's why he has created us. He has created us as light bulbs so that we can become emissaries and ambassadors to give this light to everybody.
Very beautifully explained. So I think our next question is, what are the 9 qualities of alms?
What is alms?
I'll clarify. I think we can go into the next question. So some do not believe in the relevance of mythological stories and epics. What is their importance, benefits, and relevance to today's lives?
See, relevance is not necessary. At this point of time, how do we know Rama existed? How do we go to historical analysis? And because of all that, it's not necessary. You know, when we watch movies, you know, whether the movie is, for me personally, whether the movie is real or the movie is, most of the time, the movies are fictional. But if that script writer has conceived a character and he epitomizes a value. It's very inspiring. When I come back, I sit down, I contemplate on that value for a very, very long time. I have long discussions, although it's just a movie, but I have long discussions with my wife. How come he did? Supposing he didn't do that, what would have happened? So we discuss a lot of this, although it is not true, it's just, it's a movie. Like that, in the mythological stories that comes by, the relevance and whether it really existed and all that is just an intellectual debate. Frankly speaking, what is very critical is they are telling us, hey, excuse me, there is a hole, don't walk there. That's all. I need to now imbibe that message into me so that I can go where, however high I understand the mythological stories, is not going to liberate me. I understood the whole thing at the liberation point, at when I'm getting illuminated or whatever it is, they're not going to test. There's no exam up there, Shiva, excuse me, this is objective test and you should pass the. Shiva had how many children? 2. Correct. What is the vehicle for Parvati? Tiger. Correct. So all the 10 corrects, very good. Where are you from? Canada. There you are. Heaven is on the street. There's no exam. If that was an exam today, we will all be studying, by the way, just to let you know. Everybody will be studying to understand this. Information that is given in the mythology, one purpose is for reading, second purpose is for contemplation. Idea, the realization, unlocking of our spiritual depth will only come when you know how to key in the chambers and open the gate and open the chambers and discover the wealth inside. So mythological stories have got great wealth, information, which the great sages and the seers in their compassionate mood have developed and brought it to us. Our job is to teach our children that this is all what happened. Did it really happen? It could have happened, but don't you think that they're telling the truth? Why go so far? Next time Mahatma Gandhi, 5 generations later, you mean a man like that can hold a stick and brought independence to India? Is it mythological? Is it relevant? 10 generations from now, they'll question you. You're not there to explain. And you know that relevance of Mahatma Gandhi in 10 generations from now will become a Puranic story. That old man was able to do by non-violation, and he was able to chase the entire British away just by his really, is that possible? In the new generation, they will hardly imagine that stories can be possible. It is true. So what we are trying to say is that there are characters that have been envisaged, like Mahabharata. If you read, there are characters of incredible. When you start crying. My God, how did the scriptwriter ever conceive that story? How did that imagine? Now, if I can also be like that, the whole idea of the story is to inspire you to become that, not read and read. Rama did this, Rama did this. Rama did it. What has that got to do with us? Rama did it. So are you doing like that to your wife? That's the question. Are you as faithful as Sri Rama as was that to your wife? Are you? That's all. In my life, I have to be like Sri Rama. I have to. So I've read the Ramayana. I must translate that in my life, and I must make this epic relevant, significant in my life because I want the final goal. The whole idea of the scriptures is to bring me purity, because purity is what that will take me to divinity. So whichever information, doesn't matter, give it to me and it's okay. Like, for example, today, that mantra that the children have chanted, it is still running in my mind, and I will continue to, after this, I'll go and read it and I'll see, because it is so powerful, very, very powerful, and it is embedded in my system. Now I will take it up and I will contemplate, I will see it, I will look at the words. It is so, and that's all I need, because for me, it's just a thing for me to hold on, to move. I need to move. So I don't want to question the relevance of it. And I also know, if I want to analyze it, all these stories has also taken place in another dimension. It is not that I want to dismiss it. As a science, I can do that. Now, in a rational mind, I've gone there. But I want to take the other aspect of my mind. I also can tell you that there all those things, because of the incredible incidental connectivity that they have brought, it cannot be an imagination of a script writer. It has to happen in some other higher dimension, which the people must have seen and brought it out. So that happens in another dimension, which is a story that we should explore probably in another session.
Sounds good. So our last question here is, somebody's asked, some devotees are not motivated in the organization, and what can we do to motivate them? So
the key thing is that, you see, 35 years, what Kumaran said just now, 35 years we are here. I'm still here. I'm still active in the youth. Okay, what motivates me is simple. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And finally, when I go, whatever I'm motivated to live in this rest of the things is all going to go. In a few months' time, I'll be retiring from my university as a senior professor. And the whole thing, but hey, everything is a passing cloud. I have to find my key, man. I have to discover. So when Baba said your mind is a monkey, monkey. So I said to Baba, in my mind, I said to Baba, yes, it may be true that I'm a monkey, but all I want to be is a monk who can find the right key to open your door. I want to be the monk that can find the key to open the right door and enter inside. That's all. So the issue here is that how do you stay inspired? So don't come to the conclusion, leave it to the youth. We are all old people. Yeah, we are old. Remember, and see, Swami, he didn't do that. Huh? Till the very end, he continued to serve. Even at that age. What's the message? Message is, hey, listen, every day, even if I'm in the wheelchair, I come and see everybody. I don't forsake my duty. I continue to do this. So if you are not feeling motivated to do, you have not found your purpose. You do not know why you did it. Probably you did it for the position, or probably you did it for this. And then after the position has been taken away, you are not. I don't have any position in the organization, but we are still very active. I still contribute to whatever that I can do to the best of my ability. Be doing, because this is the perpetual spirit that is inside your system. It cannot go away. You can come out of the organization, but the organization can never come out of you. This is what it is, because we find that the organization is a means for me to get there also, because organization has got diverse people. So I need to work with everybody. A lot of people who are willing to irritate you, willing to do that, but I have to love everybody. I have to be kind to everybody, or you have to be patient to be, although you know you need to do, but that person says cannot, so you have to be patient. So all that teaches me a lot of things. You can go to God directly, but you can never reach there as fast as you can through the organization, because the organization has been blessed with so many diverse people who are willing to give you all the tests free of charge. So why not take advantage of this incredible free course available for ego development and spiritual enhancement?
Sai Ram, thank you so much.
Any others?
No, that was our last question. Thank you.
So I hope I've asked the people, I asked coordinators to please make sure that after you finish the session, we have spent 2 hours of our life. We are 2 hours closer to our graveyard, by the way. We started earlier by 2 hours. This is how you calculate time. So the value of return of investment is that you should, whatever points that have been made, you must now see what is it that I must now apply, number one. Number two, you must now see which are the areas in my life that I should improve. Number three, we must see whether how connected we are to the Atma. Number four, the 9 qualities of the Atma, am I practicing it daily? How am I manifesting this daily? We must take that as a rigorous sadhana. So by the time the next session comes in, when we start our satsangs the following week, we always look back and spend half an hour on what happened the last week. What did you do? How did you transform? How did you change? You became more peaceful? Did you have an argument? What? Okay. We have to diffuse all these issues using spiritual knowledge. Use spiritual knowledge as tools to address these issues. That is why we want to treat this as a systematic, scientific, structured approach to life, not an esoteric, philosophical, popcorn eating thing where you just leisurely look, how is it nice, it's very good. And then it should not be. The books are reverentially kept by, but the Vedas all are thousands of years, the masters in that compassion mode, growing along, we had never even visited a Baba, and wrote all these things for our own peace and happiness. So if those people have done that work, we have to respect that work. And Bhagavan, having come into this world, chose us as students. They have reverentially put it into some beautiful documentation. There should be a serious, scrutinized study, a re-look at our own outer life, the way we are leading, and actively participate in everything. You, tomorrow onwards, you should go to your coordinator. Sister, is there anything I should do? Is there anything else that you want me to do? And this is how, not the coordinators must not be chasing us. Brother, please, brother, when is the meeting? Next Sunday. Ayo, next Sunday I got another meeting. Or next Sunday I cannot make it. When can you have it? 3 weeks time. Ayo, I cannot make it. So when you keep on saying like that, we postpone the opportunity to transform. We should chase them. Is there anything that you want me to do, sister? After this session, I felt, can you give me something for me to do so my Atma can be realized, so that I can be connected to higher consciousness? Okay, this book. Thank you, sister. And that should be the whole dynamism that should change. And number two, the message of Bhagavan is actually should be reaching out to more and more members of the public. Here in Malaysia, what we are doing now through the lockout periods, we are doing a program called Unleashing Success Principles, using the techniques and reaching out to as many students in the universities and colleges. We are translating that simple basic things that we teach people how to do this. Now we are going to do one more for teachers program, how to remain happy. So whatever that Swami has talked about, we are bringing it out to different packaging program and making things like that. So the prasadam is to be served everywhere. It is not for the Swami has not come for a jumbo jet with the Sairam community. It has come for the world, that everyone should be taking this flight, and we should become a responsible people to bring as many people as we can on board. Thank you so much for inviting me for this session. It was really very beautiful. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I thank Bhagwan for having given this opportunity, and thank you all wonderful people for staying with us for this session on Power of Purity. Canada can.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Suresh. I offer my humble pranams with gratitude at the lotus feet of our beloved Swami. Dear brothers and sisters, on behalf of all of us, I would like to thank Brother Suresh for this wonderful, truly inspiring and energetic presentation. Thank you, Brother Suresh, for the thoughtful and powerful insights into Swami's teachings, and this will definitely immensely benefit our audience. There are so many takeaways from your talk here that I'll probably spend another hour talking about it. So I'll just mention a couple. That we really enjoyed the result-oriented satsang experience approach that you talked about, reading, reflection and realization, and taking it to transformative action. Definitely what you have said at the end of the question and answer session, we will take it into heart. And with some help from you, we will definitely continue to do some study circles here in Canada as well. The other thing that I liked was the different types of devotees at the different levels that we are, the A, B, C, D, E, and F that you mentioned. That's something that we need to contemplate on. And you mentioned about for taking Atma as my role model and pay attention to the Atmic qualities and allow Atma to navigate us, slowly we start emulating our role model and find that we are starting to change, and we will start identifying with our Atma more and more and going into Nirgunam, Niranjanam, and Niketanam, and Nitya, finally permanent happiness. Thank you so much for all this. And as you said, we now need to assimilate all that you have given us in your talk and put it into daily practice and strive for individual transformation through continued participation in satsangs and study circles. And we are immensely grateful for this opportunity to listen to your talk. And we hope to have more of these sessions with you in the future. And hopefully, we would like to have you here in person. And we want to show you our beautiful British Columbia here. Please do come, And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our incredible technical support group here in Vancouver, without whose expertise this wonderful program wouldn't have happened. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And I want to thank all our brothers and sisters who have tuned in and who have been with us in these celebrations. And I'm sure you would have enjoyed Brother Suresh's talk as much as I did. So right now we will have a very short video presentation followed by Aarti and closing prayers. So everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Om Shri Sai Ram.
सदा सत्स्वरूपम् चिदानन्दकन्दम् जगत्सम्भवस्थान संहारहेतुम्
करुणाकरा करुणामया करुणाकरा करुणामया गुरु साई महेश्वरा प्रशान्ति साई सुन्दरा प्रशान्ति साई सुन्दरा परब्रह्मरूप परात्परा परब्रह्मरूप परात्परा त्रिविक्रमा नारायण त्रिविक्रमा नारायण ब्रह्म विष्णु महेश्वरा ब्रह्म विष्णु महेश्वरा गुरु साई महेश्वरा
सद्गमया तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक प्रतिमहेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलटिका आश्रित कल्पलटिका आदान्धवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवं मरि अंतयु नीवे स्वामी मरि अंतयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल हारति अंध को मंगल हारति अंध को मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण सत्य नारायण 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 सत्य नारायण नारायण सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण सत्य नारायण 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 सत्य नारायण नारायण सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेव शांति शांति शांति।
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्षप्रदानं बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि। Sacred, holy and supreme is Baba's vibhuti, pouring forth in endless stream his play of vibhuti. So spacious is its might, it grants liberation. Baba vibhuti, its power protects me. Baba vibhuti, its power protects me. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Harshe Mahu Bahishte Masti Ushtasi Ushtahan Yadashai Bahishtayashi Shma Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. 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 La ilaha illallah, Allah, La ilaha illallah, Allah, La ilaha illallah, Allah. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
Sukhino bhavantu samasta